July 9th, 2006, World Cup final in Berlin. This wasn't just another World Cup final, but it was in fact the last game of one of the greatest players to touch a ball, Zinedine Zidane, a man who carried France with elegance, control and genius. But in his final moments of his career, under the bright lights, everything collapsed in just a single second. One sentence, one reaction. When you talk about the greatest midfielders in history, there's one name that stands above all. That's Zinedine Zidane, or what many people used to call him, Zizou. Born in Marseille, France, Zidane's rise wasn't just about talent, but it was about timing as well. He was the right guy at the right place at the right time, and he became the star and the heartbeat of a new French generation that went on to win the 1998 World Cup on home soil in France. In that same final, Zidane would score two towering headers from set pieces as they went on to beat Brazil 3-0 and win their first ever World Cup. And this win didn't just make Zidane a superstar, but it made him a national hero. And 2 years later, in 2000, he would further cement his legacy as France went on to win the Euros. And his presence was felt everywhere. His control, his tempo on the pitch, and everything that he was doing was
sensational.
And France would be one of the few teams to win the Euros and a World Cup at once. And individually, Zidane's brilliance was recognized around the world as he was able to win the 1998 Ballon d'Or and the FIFA World Player of the Year. And I mean, even on club level, Zidane had so much success, playing for Bordeaux, Cannes, Juventus and Real Madrid. And bro won everything at club level: Serie A, La Liga, international cups, Intercontinental Cup, what is that? I don't even know. And a UCL trophy with one of the best final goals in UCL history with his weaker foot, bro. So by 2006, Zidane has already written himself in the history books with so much success and individual achievements as well. He had won everything there was to win: league titles and UCLs and individual achievements as well. And this World Cup would be his final dance, his last hurrah. A literal farewell tour on football's biggest stage. And Zidane's influence wasn't just trophies, goals, but it was his vision, his playing style, his ball control and his ability to turn a game with a single touch. Qualities that inspired teammates and intimidated other opponents, bro. And heading to the World Cup final against Italy, the fans expected nothing less than a fairy tale ending to an illustrious career. And this was just like a movie, bro, because the way France even reached the final, the way Zidane cooked Brazil in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, he Braziled. They just showed that Zidane, even if he was about to retire, he was still the best player in the world. And I believe that Zidane could even play 3 more years, just based on the way he used to play. It never really took a physical toll on him, or that's the way I saw it. So the 2006 World Cup final kicked off under the bright lights in Berlin, the ultimate stage for what is the most anticipated match in the tournament or all of sports. And just 7 minutes in, the first big moment arrived. Italy's Marco Materazzi was judged to have a foul on Florent Malouda inside the box. An early penalty was awarded. And bro, this was already foreshadowing that Marco Materazzi is gonna play a huge factor in this final. So into the spotlight steps Zinedine Zidane, the captain, the legend, and playing his last match of his career. Calm and composed, Zidane surprised millions of fans with a Panenka-style penalty, a delicate chip, and it hit the crossbar and went over the line. France were ahead, and it felt like destiny. Like, what? Your final match you do a Panenka? Like, at this point you think football is scripted. But just 12 minutes later, Italy equalized from a perfectly placed corner from Andrea Pirlo. Marco Materazzi again, bruh, would score a power header that went past Fabien Barthez, and it was 1-1. The Azzurri were back in the fight, and the rhythm and the vibe of the game completely changed, bro. And for the rest of regulation time, both sides traded chances. Italy would hit the crossbar, and France would almost get a penalty again. But neither team made the breakthrough, and it was extra time. And as the clock ticked into the extra time period, tension wrapped around every touch, every tackle and every glance. Two footballing titans, two legendary national teams, were on a collision course of history. You could feel that something monumental is about to happen. And then it happened. 110 minutes into the World Cup final, extra time, with the score still 1-1. The football world watched in absolute disbelief. Zinedine Zidane, the captain, the leader, on the brink of retirement, turned on Marco Materazzi, a single explosive motion, a headbutt to the chest. The stadium fell in stunned silence. Cameras captured Zidane walking away, his back to the world, the trophy gleaming in the distance, forever out of reach in that moment. His teammates froze, the referee raised the red card, and reality sank in. This was the final act of Zidane's legendary career, as Italy went on to win the World Cup final. But that begs the question, why did Zidane crash out in the World Cup final? Well, later, Zidane would reveal that Materazzi triggered him. He basically rage-baited him. When Materazzi was pulling his shirt and Zidane said, "Yo, you can have my shirt after the game," kind of taunting him. But Materazzi, because being part of the legendary dark arts, would say, "Nah, I want your sisters." And if I'm Zidane, this is my reaction. Fuck all that! But this was a valid crash out. Like, I cannot stand it, bro. Like, imagine being in the World Cup final and then you start taunting my sister and you are the one who equalized for us to even reach extra time. I would crash out on you. But in France, despite the initial shock that people felt when they saw the red card, many people forgave him and still love him to this day. And as for Zidane, he apologized to the fans, to the children especially, that he should have not crashed out like that in a final. But he said he is not apologizing to Materazzi because, like I said, it's a valid crash out to insult a bra's sister. Like, nah, man. But that was the way Zidane ended his career. The legendary midfielder, probably the greatest midfielder of all time, if not one of at least, retired with a red card. That is the man, the myth, the legend, Zinedine Zidane.